Hey guys, we need to get to the crypt, hurry up.
Yeah, I'm ready, Shad. I just... Well, one of us needs to change.
It's not going to be me.
It's not going to be me.
Guys, look what I found. I feel like one of those NPCs that you're going to hit at least twice to kill.
Well, yeah, I'll hit you. I'll hit you.
No, fine. We can all wear red brigandines, but if it's going to be this overt, we need a name to, like, the band of the red something. I don't know, but...
Barons?
Maybe, I don't know. We're too similar. I need something that at least I can stand out about.
I don't know if I like it, but it feels really protective. Like, there.
That is so going to work.
I know, right? Double-bladed sword, baby.
Like, it's totally not going to work. But that's what.
It's going to work.
This is going to work. This will be awesome.
You're going to chop your own leg off.
I disagree.
Don't. Look, awesome level, 100%, but you're going to cut your own leg off.
Well, there's only one way to find out.
We're going to have to put it to the test.
We have got to test this out.
I'm keeping an eye on it.
We're what you call professionals.
Greetings, I'm Shad, and I have wanted to do this video for a long time. I've already spoken about double-bladed swords / lightsabers, and in that older video, by the way, that older video, I am way more chunky in that. You can see it, there's a bit more around the midsection.
Well, you're looking better these days, but continue.
Well, in that video, I actually speculate there's far more validity and functionality to a double-bladed sword, but then I also said it would be really fun to see it tested.
Well, is that what we're going to do today?
That is exactly what we're going to do, because we've got a LARP, one ready for sparring, and we actually have padding for the lightsaber, so I've got a double-bladed lightsaber to test as well, but we've also connected two live sharp blades.
Very, very sharp. Very sharp blades.
So they have an edge.
And
these are both steel blades that can cut.
Similar in length and profile, so...
Yeah, this is we're going to have to be very careful not to cut ourselves when we're swinging these.
So we're going to be testing cutting, we're going to be testing sparring, and also maneuverability. So those are the three main kind of areas.
Now, the reason why we're going to be testing all these areas is because foam blades or even these lightsaber blades, it really just doesn't compare to the real thing. This thing's quite heavy, but
It's chunky.
There's some interesting things that I think we're going to find when it comes to cutting with a double-bladed sword.
It's a four-edged sword, so we're trying something completely new because we've got so many different ways we can cut with it, so many different ways we can fight with it, and then we'll just see what happens if we've got no edge alignment at all.
I mean, lightsaber, you don't need edge alignment, that's the advantage of them. I have a short about that coming out soon. And it's going to be very interesting to see how functional an actual double-bladed sword is. I speculate, like, perhaps people considered something like this in the past. It's essentially a polearm, and there are double-bladed weapons historically, or did I say double-bladed? Double-ended. Like poleaxes, you sometimes have spikes on the back end, okay?
They do.
They would actually hold the poleaxe with the spike ready to jab, and then come down for a really heavy strike as well. So double-ended weapons do exist historically. Perhaps someone considered double-bladed sword in the past, but one of the biggest impracticalities about these things is how the heck do you wear and carry them?
Yes.
Like
Like connecting them in the middle maybe or something, or just like sheath it and hope for the best.
if it was actually smaller, where it was less awkward, there might even be more validity to it, because interestingly enough, I think there might be some validity to a double-ended dagger. Because, you know, with daggers in particular, there's a debate versus regular grip and ice pick grip.
You could just do both at the same time.
Both. And if it's a functional dagger, then like double-ended might even work.
Let's put it to the test.
Which one? The double sword or double dagger?
Well, dagger fighting's
Both.
already dangerous, so we need something like utilitarian to do with a double-ended knife.
Double-ended knife testing.
Yeah.
Like making food preparation and stuff.
That'd work.
That'd do it. Well, good thing this video is sponsored by HelloFresh. All right, look at these double-bladed knives. So, yeah, they do work.
We are going to hurt ourselves.
You reckon it's too dangerous for a functional use like this?
I think it's going to be like a little yes. Yes.
We're professionals. I think we'll be all right.
We are professionals here. All right, as these guys get started with these double-bladed knives and we get to see how effective they are in the background, I'm going to tell you a little bit about HelloFresh and how you can get some free food. I'm not kidding, because that's how I first started with HelloFresh. It was a deal like I'm able to offer you. I tried it out. I've been hooked ever since.
I have to say, I kind of find myself either using one side or the other. Like if it was a whole blade, I feel like I could actually use it, but it's not like I've got 2 pieces of things to cut at the same time.
This is not a lie. I've legitimately been a customer for HelloFresh long before they were ever a sponsor, and we loved the recipes so much we saved them so we could cook our own, and I'm not kidding. These are all the recipes that I've saved from HelloFresh over the years I've been a customer because it's legitimately that good. Why are they so good? Every week you can pick from 40 chef-curated recipes to get delivered to your doorstep, and it cuts out so much of the hassle. You don't need to go to the grocery store. It's delivered to your doorstep, and on top of that, it cuts out the hassle of the pre-planning and everything. You get given pre-portioned ingredients, which cuts down heaps of waste, and the food is legitimately delicious. Try it, you won't be disappointed.
Well, hold up a bean, I'll see if I can do a cut test. A long one, just a really long one.
Yeah, I totally trust you.
Okay, gonna do it. Let's try that again.
It also does the planning for you. I fell into kind of like this, they call it a recipe rut, where you just default to the same things over and over, and yeah, it's tasty and it's the stuff that you like and you just keep making it again and again, but you don't have variety there. HelloFresh, because it's pre-portioned, it's planned for you, it comes to you, and not only that, you can pick from fit and wholesome recipes, okay? So if you have health goals, HelloFresh can really help you achieve that. And if you're short on time, it also has quick and easy meals that only take like 15 minutes to make. I am not a great cook, okay? But with HelloFresh, I've been able to make some truly delicious food, and also the creativity in some of these recipes that I'd never have thought of. Amazing.
As you can see, I like cutting literally anything.
Yeah, he does. He really does. Kind of doesn't work.
I hit it
kind of
twice.
does.
I hit it twice. I hit it twice.
It's not a test of dexterity.
I hit it twice.
Okay.
So if you haven't tried HelloFresh yet, they are doing one of the best deals I've ever been able to offer you. Genuinely, a full half-price deal. All you have to do is go to hellofresh.com and use code 50ShadAdversity at the checkout for 50% off plus free shipping. Half price, one of the best deals ever. That's free food right there that you can try out, and you're not going to be disappointed. So once again, guys, just go to hellofresh.com and use code 50ShadAdversity at the checkout for 50% off plus free shipping. HelloFresh comes with my full recommendation. The food is delicious. I'm a customer. I think you guys will really get value out of it. People here in the office have tried it out on just the recommendations, and they've been hooked as well. So genuinely, it is absolutely real value for money. Delicious, you won't be disappointed, and thank you to HelloFresh for sponsoring this video. And look at this, double forks.
And double knives, because we had to use these.
How'd they go?
They were good. I enjoyed it. This was kind of useless, but I did a cut test with it, Nate. And
You did?
Yeah.
With the cut, they were fun, but they were also useless.
Well, all right, so maybe not in cutting like food, but I reckon combat-wise, there might be some validity to it.
Yeah, or if you're cutting for a long period of time and you want something else to change to maybe.
How's the food?
Oh, that's good.
And my fill of double-end knives, I'll just try this.
Well, we've got double-bladed swords after this.
Oh, that's very good. Remember, code 50ShadAdversity. Half price.
That was good. That was real good.
That's very good. I want to try double knives.
Oh, but now it's time to actually try our double-bladed sword.
Oh, yeah.
It's gnarly, man.
Yeah.
All right, some things to be mindful of.
Everything.
The backswing. When you go forward, that blade is coming back. So we'll be mindful of that.
But we're going to test it like we normally test things with pool noodles and water bottles. Now, these are both sharp, so hopefully it'll get through everything. It might just be my edge alignment, to be honest with this.
I mean, honestly, Tyranth here is the best cutter amongst us, and so he's going to be doing the heavy lifting for this. We want to test just a regular downwards with the forward blade, cutting with the back blade, and even maybe try and
False
get a
edge?
double cut.
Yeah, so the double cut is actually the interesting one for me, because I would say if I'm able to perform a double cut with this quicker than I would with just one sword, I see that as a win. But if I'm not able to, then I don't really see the point. Let's give it a couple of goes and see what happens.
Let's do it.
So I'm just going to attempt a normal, just a straight down strike, because that should just behave like a normal sword, and hopefully my edge alignment is good. So as you can see, this sword is nice and sharp. Let's try and do a bit of a double here. fast as I can, I'm going to try and get off 2 consecutive cuts. There might be a little bit of overswing, might be a little bit of that, but we just want to see how quick I can do it and then compare that to the double-bladed sword. So for this next cutting portion, what I want to try to achieve is I want to swing the blade around a little bit to see how much maneuverability I have, and then on the final swing, I want to see if I can get good edge alignment and get a solid cut. Let's give it a go. Now, the edge alignment on that was actually pretty good. We got a solid cut, and that was on a backhanded strike.
More difficult to cut with, but I think that is mostly coming down to practice. You could train yourself up to get that edge line.
Well, there's something we need to mention. So we've jerry-rigged 2 swords here together, and they have a similar blade profile, but there is a difference. This one is a bit thicker, and we ran into this sort of problem when we did the Zelda Master Sword review on these blades, because they're both from the same manufacturer. They're a little bit thick. They have a bit of meat on them.
And this Baylor Arms Alexandria type 18C Alexandria sword is great at cutting.
Yes.
Yeah. When it's got an edge on it.
And we also need to talk about like changing edge alignment, because they are a little askew to each other. Not much. Yeah, and a little off at an angle. Like there's a whole heap of minor things that just pull them apart a bit.
If you had a custom made one where both swords were completely equivalent,
one solid tang the whole way, like that would.
There'll be less difficulties. The thing is though, you got some pretty good cuts in it. I was able to cut with it. This is still a very deadly functional weapon.
Something I want to mention right off the bat is I'm actually starting to sweat from that cutting. I've never ever gone away from a cutting session like, ooh, that was a bit of hard work, guys. This is, because it's 2 swords.
It's a heavy weapon.
Yeah, it's double the weight of a normal sword because it's 2 of them, and then we've got a steel brace here holding it. So this thing is a bit hefty.
Yes. All of its counterweight is now countering it in the middle.
For a fantasy adventurer, they'll just get fit.
So something I want to mention is the fact that the filleting cuts that was happening, there are a lot of in and out. Like you can see here quite prominently these filleting slices that were happening, and even the hole in the pool noodle, like being exposed over and over again.
Do you know why I was doing that? Either of you? Do you know why I was doing that? Because that was on purpose.
To keep the blade away from overswinging into yourself.
I would say to align the second cut coming in.
Yes, because when you cut with the first one, whatever you were trying to cut is gone. So what's happening is I'm doing my first cut, and now there were times where it's not actually cutting through, but then on the second cut, I'm altering my edge alignment so that I'm able to actually cut something and not just swing at nothing.
Something that I am really wanting to test out further are double cuts. The double cuts that we did in this test are a little bit tricky because we're following through the target completely. If you're fighting against a person, that first strike will usually be stopped. I mean, there will be some times where you could draw it out and follow through.
Oh, if you can get out of that bind.
In the maneuverability section, I want to specifically test out double striking against a static target, which means you have to withdraw it, go hit, and to see the speed versus a single sword where you have to go hit or something like that. That'll be really interesting. We're going to be starting with some of these trainers. I like the LARP one because it's a bit more sturdy, and so that's what I'm going to try.
And I kind of like this one because it feels a bit more like it's got proper blade resistance. It is a little askew, but there are reasons for that.
Something went wrong.
Yeah, we had to make a few of these rather quickly.
Now, this should go without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. These are really, really light compared to the real deal.
But
really
we are not as strong as burly adventurers who are conditioned and trained with it. And so I think this is an adequate substitute to pretend like, you know, this is what it would, if you're really strong, this is about as heavy as it would feel for a super strong adventurer.
Remind me again, who did most of the cutting just then?
What, are you saying you're a super strong adventurer?
I am.
We are.
exactly
Well,
what
that's
I'm
true.
saying.
We all
How's
are.
that? I've never sweat before and never been out of breath. And...
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right.
Anyway, let's get into it. Which one do you want to start with?
Well, first I want to go straight into double cut tests because one of the big advantages with a double-bladed sword is once you do one cut, when you're withdrawing that first blade, the second blade is already coming in to hit. And so I want to see like a hit, and compare it to a single sword, but there is another thing that we should compare it against to be fair, and that is dual wielding, having a sword in each hand. I'm going to start with a thrust cut combo just to try and test the speed. So if I'm here, I'm just going to go bang, bang. All right. So what I'm finding, it's going to depend how much power I put in, because if I just do a big like that, yeah, it's fast, but not a lot of power. If I want to try and match the power that I'm able to get in this follow-up strike, I kind of need to wind a bit more. So bang, like that. And look, I'm noticing a distinct difference in speed. Now double cutting. I want to test the maneuverability just to make sure, like, are there any other hits that we're missing out on? And one of the main stances I think you would want to use for a double-bladed sword is actually not this, but more like a spear, like this, because you can get all the type of hits that you want in, but it's much better for thrusting. And so, and one thing that I'm finding, I was worried that you might get stuck too much on the target, but it's easy to withdraw, and as soon as you withdraw, you're good to follow-up strike. And then you do have the double hit. I mean, this, to me, is a very functional weapon still. All right, so Tyranth, how about you give a go of a double cut?
I'll give it a double cut.
Awesome.
So I'm going to try and do 2 consecutive cuts, similar to what I would do with just one sword. And what I'm finding is I'm gaining a lot more leverage. When it comes to just one standard sword, I have to come in and then wind back around. But with this, I've technically already got that wind when I come for the follow-up.
So I want to try a double cut now with the long sword, because with a reverse edge cut, you can increase the speed. And
You can, but I was talking specifically about leverage. I feel like you have a lot more leverage with that follow-up cut.
So in this one, I'm actually going to be thumbing it. And let's see, so if I was there, so that's pretty fast. It's hard to measure, but I think the double-bladed sword is still that bit faster.
It's not just faster though, you have that leverage, which I feel like is the really important part of that. And we're not just talking when we were doing rising cuts and then following through. We're talking back and then you've already got that second one loaded
You do.
to go.
And because with the longsword, I kind of think of these attacks as that kind of helicopter combo where you go hit, 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 right? They're fast, they don't have huge power or leverage.
Exactly. So I've found that it might actually be positive for this thing.
But gentlemen, you are forgetting one thing, which is you've got 2 swords taped together. What happens if you actually separate them? So I reckon we get this and we test the speed of this versus just 2 individual blades.
This is fair.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that dual wielding is probably going to be as fast. I don't think that necessarily invalidates the double-bladed sword, because the double-bladed sword has something that the dual wielding doesn't, and it's reach. And so we're going to really find out how much of a game changer that is in the sparring section. But first, let's test speed.
Right now, let's just go for some double strikes. And for all you adventurers out there, don't do one then the other. Try to be a bit more succinct, but I feel like that's fast.
Honestly, I think it is. One of the big reasons being that with the double-bladed sword, this one is always at the side, where with dual wielding, you can have both swords presented ready to go. And so it's just like hit, 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 hit. And because they're closer to their target already, you're probably going to get greater speed out of dual wielding.
I think so, and you don't have to worry about one all the way back for the one all the way forward. You've got that leverage point a lot quicker.
Yeah. Whoa, does this invalidate it? I think we're only going to find it out in sparring. Okay, so I want to test this out. And look, I've been waiting to do this for a long time. I want to test it out versus...
Well, I've got a double. Doesn't really count.
But I want to test versus a longsword. And then dual wielding, I want to actually see how effective spinning is with it. If you can, how easily you can break through.
Well, I've got one of these. I've got two of these.
Because we also have another polearm to verse it against.
Oh yes, we do. So we've got a few different options.
Let's do it.
Fight.
That double.
Headshot. Headshot. Headshot.
Good.
Yeah.
Leverage on that. That is so hard to keep up with.
Okay, so for me, that was honestly amazing.
Not so much for me. So I found that one, it's already got more reach, even though the blades are similar length. Just the given, I don't know what it is, but
Well, imagine holding a sword like that.
Yeah.
You wouldn't. You would have no structure and it would be broken easily.
But all your structure is now in the back
All the structure's
hand.
here.
So, funnily enough, I found that the follow-up was actually hard to keep up with and not. If I caught the second or third consecutive shot, I knew I was good. I could just block,
Yeah.
because it's only a rowing motion.
I noticed I was just repeating it then. I should have mixed it up because I was going bang, bang. I should have gone like something like that.
But once you've got that motion, it's
momentum.
easy. But it's the first couple that you've got to catch, especially from a stab to a roll to a stab. Like, oh.
For me, it felt like I got all the advantages out of long point with all the power out of wrath. Like, I was able to keep that on, like, right in your face, maneuver it around, get around the guard, and get some pretty surprising thrusts in.
It was.
Good powered ones too, because backhand leverage, just bang. And then if that didn't work, straight back. And this comes in fast.
Oh yeah, that does. There were a couple that I felt like I got on you, but they were very risky to do. Like they almost were getting too close, like flattered the blade up against me, might have filleted me a little, like we were talking about earlier, but that was just awkward. I want to swap up weapons.
Okay. All right, switching it up now. Nate has the double-bladed sword. I've got longsword.
And I want to try that Ricasso grip.
Headshot.
Tried to get the advantage of the reach.
Headshot.
That was so damn fast. That was just like, I'm dealing with that one, and suddenly there's a blade in my head.
Back a bit. I think we had a critical failure.
We might need to switch to the lightsaber.
Headshot.
Almost blocked that in time. Okay, so I feel like these are very chaotic weapons with a lot of doubles right off the word go.
Though it felt like your strikes in the doubles were more lethal than mine. And I tell you what, when you brought that point more on target, I found that a lot more difficult. You even got a straight thrust into me. Right off the bat.
Though I think you filleted my arms again a couple of times.
Gentlemen, you're out of breath.
I wonder why. These are chaotic.
Great.
Chaotic weapon.
All right then, you have a go.
Fight. Headshot. Headshot.
Nice.
Headshot.
Gorgeous shot. It is so hard to fight.
Honestly, guys, we're all a bit tired. I'm a bit knackered.
That is, and we're only halfway done. There is more.
Against a single sword, double-bladed sword, wrecked.
Yeah.
Honestly, this thing.
Even, and I know this is a larp blade, so it's got a lot of flex in the structure, but I felt that structure bend because the amount of leverage I got with my hands that far apart,
Versus this.
that far apart, yeah, it's just...
The reach and the speed of this follow-up strike, as soon as you want to withdraw that and just, oh, sorry.
That's okay, yeah.
Comes in without you even realizing it. And you're
Exactly
like,
that,
oh.
because you might block the first one with a lot of strength, but as fast as the second one comes in, you've got no room to put momentum and strength behind that shot. You
Now,
just get
remember,
powered through.
Usually, I think all of us, every single one of us, is holding the point out with our offhand. So that second strike is with our main hand. That's why it's so quick and
Oh,
deadly.
But that thrusting forward is deadly. It
is.
and so effective.
I got to admit, that original video where you're like holding it like this seems more effective. Holding it like that just doesn't seem right. Like that, on the other hand,
I want to try something that has been on my mind for a bit. I want to spin this thing and see if you guys can break through. Like if it's actually defensive. Like me just going ham spin.
you want to be an attack helicopter.
Kind of.
So you just want me to break through the guard.
Yeah, so I'm going to be doing this.
Headshot. Headshot.
Okay, so spinning, not that effective.
No. When we were doing long point, we were getting like, what would you say, a success rate of like 80%?
80, yeah, around there. And with keeping it on point, you could use it so tactically and just maneuver around the weapon, where spinning, I couldn't keep track of the blades, where they were going.
Yeah.
You were able to track them, find the opening.
And every time when I was doing it, I was able to come in close
Yeah.
to the neck or the head. And I was able to get you. There was a couple of doubles, but for the most part, I was able to consistently get head. I don't think it's a good strategy. It looks cool,
It looks cool.
but remember also, this is a lightsaber and not a blade like we tested earlier, where you have to keep
Keep edge alignment. Good shot in the arm.
I might already be dead, but that's fine. Yeah. I'm in.
One or two more, let's do it.
Headshot.
I didn't see the second one.
Headshot.
So,
Reach.
yes.
Headshot.
That was hard.
Yeah.
How do you feel? How do you?
I feel every time I have to, and it's obvious, every time you have to move two arms, you get, like, especially in unison, so much more exhausting. Like, I fought sword and shield, I fought two swords. I've never fought that, and that's
You know, I think I got some all right hits with the double swords, but
Yeah.
a lot were doubles, honestly.
yeah.
Alright, so you've done dual wielding. Is there anything else you want to do?
A drink of water? I'd love a drink of water.
Hold on.
Polearm. Who's doing that?
You.
I'm gonna get a drink of water.
By myself.
Yep.
Fight. Headshot. Headshot.
That sucked.
Yeah, you got hit like that. The polar halberd was going.
Headshot. Headshot.
Ready?
No.
Fight.
Oh wow, I don't know what I'm fighting with this. Oh wow.
Headshot.
Wow.
Headshot.
Woo!
Shad wins. Fatality.
So I hit Shad in the head a bit hard, and he returned the shot in kind. Oh! How you going, mate? You all right?
How you going, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. Oh!
Okay, so there was a definite takeaway out of those last exchanges.
Something was definitely taken away from me.
And how you holding up there, Nate?
Yeah, I'm all right. How are you?
I really liked it. I thought that last one was really good.
If you weren't holding the sharps right.
But seriously, halberds, holy crap.
Yeah.
I mean, they say the spear is the king of the battlefield, but the halberd is a spear plus an axe.
Yeah.
I mean, and this thing wrecked.
Like, these would, well, when they weren't sword chucks and suffering from sword dysfunction, they seemed okay.
Like, honestly, I think what we can establish is that the double-bladed sword, if you have the strength to, because it's a heavier weapon, so you need to be conditioned for it, it is a very functional weapon. In fact, it did really well against a single sword and dual wielding, but when it came up to something that could outreach it,
Yeah. And power through the shot. So there were some doubles, but at least I felt like when I was wielding that, the doubles were less effective.
well,
hitting me in the shoulder.
for me, the doubles were, yeah, you might get injured using this, but you are killing the other person.
Yeah.
These were axe strikes to the head.
So in terms of why you don't think this is a weapon that's ever been a thing, I think it's just purely portability and actually being able to use, like, for example, this is the sharp one here. I need to put a sheath on this side.
Look at how careful he's being.
So I've got a sheath there, and now I've got a sheath there. So now if I want to take this out to use it.
And not only that, I feel like to use that, oh wow, that's so dangerous.
Well,
And now I'm ready to go.
Yeah, but I also feel like to use it, you can't use it in a tight formation like you could with a spear or a halberd.
Or a halberd.
Almost any other weapon you've got, maybe with the exception of flails. But
Well, that's why I don't like flails. And your reaction to Tyranth unsheathing the swords right then is another big indicator. Because if you are in a formation, you have people next to you, this secondary blade, if you're like, it could easily hit someone else. So I think that's also a big reason why it might not have caught on.
Yeah.
And I mean, what you're trying to, this would have to be a battlefield weapon. I don't see it as a portable weapon for self-defense. And so if you were going for something,
Well, I mean, just imagine busting this out in like a duel or something.
that would be wicked, and you would wreck with it because it is more advantageous than regular dueling weapons. But in terms of battlefield weapons, there's something that just dominates it, and
So-
is more convenient to carry and wear.
So in terms of, let's give it a functionality score out of 10. What would you give this a functionality score?
I want to have this as a new thing. The
I
functionality
do like
score.
this because you know where the nunchucks would be on that scale.
All roads lead back to nunchucks.
They
with you, Shad.
really do, but the flail would also be low on that scale.
So Shad, what number would you give this out of 10?
All right, so if nunchucks are like a 1 or a 2, and a flail is like a 3 or a 4, I would give that a 7.
Nate?
I like my battlefield weapons as more than my dueling weapons, so I would give it a 4.
I am actually kind of really sold on this. Now, a lot of the things we ran into, like weight, because this thing tuckered me out a little bit, but in terms of form and things like that, if you made a dedicated weapon that was actually a proper double-ended sword, and you figured out how to sheath it and unsheath it in a realistic way.
And how to
Honestly-
use it next to your allies. and
In
In
terms of sheathing, what you'd want is 2 long swords that you can wear on your side, draw them out and connect them.
I was thinking more like a sleeve thing with a rope in the middle that I could just pull and they would both come off.
But I kind of feel like that if you tried to connect 2 swords, something would go drastically wrong at the wrong time.
But out of a 10, I would give it like an 8. It was super.
It was a
effective.
very effective weapon.
It wasn't until we got to that where it was a bit of a one-sided beat.
I would honestly prefer to use a
Because
flail.
this is the thing. What?
I would prefer to use a flail than that.
What?
Because a flail, you can at least control somewhat.
You can control that great.
No!
And the fact that it got dominated by the halberd, most weapons are going to get dominated by the halberd. I mean, let's be honest here. Dual wielding, single longsword, good friggin' luck.
So I think that's been our very in-depth analysis of the double-ended sword, and I enjoyed it. It was really
It is
fun.
a functional weapon. It can be pretty badass.
Not as functional as a flail.
What?
We did a video on this showing how effective the flail is.
Kinda, not
All
really.
right, guys, this is the part of the video where we tell you to go watch another video.
Yeah, the one with the flail.
One with the flail?
The one with the flail. It's amazing.
It's too heavy. an
It
unwieldy.
is too heavy. Yeah,
Well, how about
yeah.
we let these guys check?
All right, well, go check it out. See what you think, how effective the flail was.
Video's right there. Check it out. Trust me, it was good. It was good, even though I might or may not have gone with other weapons. But you'll have to check that.